Are you frustrated losing in duels to stupid brawlers like Barley, Meg, and Sam? What if I told you this is actually one of the best team comps in the game? I searched on YouTube and found no one made a duels tier list, so here's my April 2025 tier list where I go over the best and worst brawlers to play in my favorite mode. Along the way, I'll add 6 important tips that no one talks about to help you win in any scenario. Keep in mind that this list and tips assumes that you are the same skill level as your opponent. Starting off with the F tier, I don't think these two brawlers can win any matchups in the game because they lack enough damage to keep the opponent back, and their supers aren't good enough for their high charge rate. First, we have Tick, who doesn't do enough damage and can't beat anyone in a 1v1. Then we have Clancy, who starts at level 1, which is too weak, so he even loses to tanks. Now that we've gotten rid of the two useless brawlers, let me give you the most important tip about winning a 50-50 matchup. If you're both Belle, for example, and they don't know this, you will probably win 80% of the time. Healing is key in duels, but most people I face don't know how to heal properly. After not attacking or taking damage for 3 seconds, you will start regenerating 13% of your max health per second. If you are down any amount of health on closed maps with a low chance of hitting the opponent, heal up. However, on open maps, shoot all of your ammo at your opponent before healing, since you can heal and reload simultaneously. How much damage does Piper's shot deal at max range? You need to know most of the brawler's damages by heart, so that you can heal just above their damage amount. There is no point in healing from 1k to 3k against Piper, because she will still one-shot you. Instead, heal to 3.5k to survive at 100 health. Next in the E tier, you should put these brawlers first to charge super, or last to avoid giving the enemy super. The other two brawlers should be a good duo, because these brawlers will not provide much value to the team comp on their own. Bull is viable only as a Shrouding Serpent first pick, but if they have vision gear, you are cooked. Jessie sometimes beats single shot brawlers, but there are much better options. Grom doesn't deal damage consistently with his attack or super to confirm kills. Sprout is good with the wall on some maps when the gas closes in, but is countered easily. Doug has no range, and is only viable when he has super on closed maps. Surge doesn't counter tanks too well in duels, and needs levels to be viable. Ruffs is only okay against single shot brawlers, and has lots of losing matchups. What makes a good duo to carry these weak brawlers? How can there be synergy between brawlers when you only play one at a time? Well, there are 2 important things to consider for team synergy. One way to create a good comp is considering saving a brawler's super or hyper for the next brawler, which I call boosting. Another more important aspect to think about is the brawler matchups. Don't put 2 of the same type of brawler next to each other, and don't let your entire comp get beat by one type of brawler. Can you tell me what's wrong with these comps made by my opponents? The first one has the brawlers in the wrong order, because they won't be able to take advantage of their super booster by giving it to a brawler with a good super. The next one has 3 brawlers that all get countered by the same type of brawler. Tanks, throwers, and snipers are the key types to look out for when constructing a team comp. In the D tier, the brawlers either have a little more synergy or are slightly better in 1v1 interactions than those in E tier. Colt and Brock are solid wall break options, but they lose to almost anyone. Dynamite is only okay if you are good at him, otherwise he won't be good in duels. 8-Bit is decent on Shooting Star with his HP and range, but loses to most snipers. Rico is not very good on any map, but he is a decent brawler. Penny's supers get destroyed too easily in duels, and she lacks damage. Ems doesn't have range to compete on most maps and still loses to tanks. Pam has a cool gadget, but she doesn't do consistent damage. Ashe is decent on Shrouding Serpent but loses to most other tanks. Jackie is a better version of Doug but with the same weaknesses. BB has a good heal gadget but loses to most tanks and tank counters. Hank is nice on Monkey Maze, but his hyper is almost useless. Mandy is alright on No Surrender, but if you miss a shot you will lose all of your control. Barry can't confirm kills and loses a lot of matchups, but it's okay as a hyper booster. Shade with super is good, but it can be hard to get and it's still not a free win. Mortis can be a good counter pick, but it only beats a few types of brawlers. Eve has a decent gadget and range, but doesn't shine on any map. Crow can be used on Shrouding Serpent, but lacks damage. Sandy doesn't do lots of damage, but can win some matchups. Draco beats most brawlers with his super, but can't spam gadgets. With many of these lower tier brawlers, their supers are either pretty good but charge slowly, or are bad supers that can be charged easily. I see too many people playing out 10% win, 90% loss scenarios, charging the opponent's super and hyper, and sometimes even wasting their own. While you should use all your resources if you're down to the last brawler, if your current brawler isn't necessary to beat the other brawlers in the opponent's comp, simply wait and walk into the smoke to not charge the opponent's resources. This concept can also be applied to ammo. You have 3 ammo bars on most brawlers, so there's no need to use all of it at once for no reason. Take this example from a very close duel I was in. I saved my ammo outside auto-aim distance, only shooting one at a time, so that when my opponent hits me and activates my damage gear, I unload all of my ammo at once inside auto-aim distance for free hits with plus 15% damage. In the C tier, these brawlers can be very good in the right scenario because their supers have good kill confirm potential, but they're not good on all maps or have the best matchups against the top brawlers. Jelly beats more brawlers than just tanks, but needs to get super. Primo's super is hard to get, but beats almost everyone with it. Poco is good against low DPS, but loses to high DPS. Gus is good on open maps, but not on closed maps. Bo is nice on Shrouding Serpent, and can be a hyper booster. Bell is a decent sniper for no surrender, but loses to some other better snipers. Bonnie's good against some low DPS snipers, but bad against tanks. Lola is good with vision gear on Shrouding Serpent, but not into everything. Maisie's super is a free kill, but her shots are hard to hit. Larry is good on Monkey Maze, but there are better thrower options. Angelo is okay on no surrender, but it's bad against aggro. Byron's super is good for a kill confirm, but he lacks damage. Squeak has annoying gadgets after the rework, but struggles against tanks. Feng is good against snipers on no surrender, but only with super. Buster can kill most squishies on closed maps, but loses to tanks and anti-tanks. Willow is one of the best throwers because her super forces the opponent into the smoke. Charlie is good against single-shot brawlers, but loses to everyone else without super. Miko is a good thrower assassin, but many other brawlers can beat him. Lily only works if you predict the enemy with the gadget. If you miss, you're cooked. Finks might be okay on some maps after the buffs. I don't think his base kit is good for duels. Leon can't really assassinate most of the top brawlers, and he's useless without super. Amber is a decent mid-ranger, but doesn't really counter tanks, and ties most matchups. Aiming is one of the easiest skills in Brawl Stars to learn. Simply line up a shot with the opponent's movement and hit them, right? Not exactly. It's important to remember that outside your brawler's auto-aim distance, you have less than a 50% chance of hitting the opponent, and the chance gets worse as the opponent gets further away. This is because when you auto-aim, you hit 100% of the shots. But just outside that distance is when they can dodge your auto-aim left or right, and if you guess wrong, then you miss the shot. This is why I will tell you 2 things to help you kill your opponents with better aiming skill. First, you should not make any exaggerated shots. If you see your opponent moving right, and you think they'll keep going, don't shoot 2 tiles in that direction, because if they stop just for a millisecond, they will only move 1 tile to the right, and your shot will miss. Instead, just shoot 1 tile in front of them, because if they keep moving right the whole time, the shot will still hit, and if they double back at the last second, it will also hit. Second, learn and abuse your auto-aim distance. If you are a slow reloading sniper, it is impossible to kill a tank at max range. If your reload speed is 2 seconds, and you miss only 50% of your shots against the tank, they will heal every time you miss, and you will make no progress. Instead, get into auto-aim distance if they have low range, to hit every shot and keep them from healing. In the B tier, these brawlers are the staples of duels. Pair them with the right comp and map to get free wins. Nita's bear basically guarantees a win when the smoke closes in, but it's hard to get. Rosa can turn the map into Cavern Churn, beating most brawlers after getting set up. Barley is the best thrower on Monkey Maze, with a slow gadget and super in the endgame. Daryl has an auto-charging super and can assassinate most brawlers. Carl is one of the best brawlers with a fire gadget, occasionally losing to tanks. Piper is a top sniper on no surrender and feels unstoppable paired with an aggro counter. Frank has the highest HP in the game and most brawlers can't kill him. Griff is the best consistent wall breaker by countering tanks before playing snipers. Colette is good into more brawlers than just tanks, and she's a good hyper booster. Sam is a good choice for a hypercharged brawler, but loses to some counters. Max is a good aggro pick against snipers on no surrender. Mr. P used to be broken, but is still a good hypercharged brawler against some single shots. Luke can be a good hypercharged brawler, and is still good in the endgame, but has counters. Buzz has trouble getting his first super, but a hook onto most brawlers is a free kill. Janet has low DPS, but her OP gadget and hyper make her good for confirming kills. Otis is a decent tank counter, especially on open maps with super. Ray with infinite hooks is busted for getting super charge and confirming kills. Mo is a good brawler with the buff, and his super deals 4,000 damage for free. Spike beats almost anyone who can't dodge curveball, but sometimes the other star power is better. Cord is one of the best 1v1 brawlers and can beat almost anyone in the Shadow Realm. Kenshi is a very good tank into low DPS, but struggles against tanks and tank counters. Melody is great in the right hands, I just can't seem to play her correctly. I face so many players with predictable movement that I can 2 or 3 tap easily with my snipers. While aim is important, your movement pattern is much better to work on, because more than half of your shots will not hit the enemy, but you can dodge almost every shot with randomized movement and quick reaction time. Some things to avoid when juking are walking in straight lines for too long. It is okay to do this to trick the opponent, but it should not be for more than 5 tiles. Another mistake is that players change direction or run away when getting hit. This makes them easy to predict and hit multiple times in a row. When your range is less than your opponent's, do not dodge from side to side. Take space by moving up the map when you're at high HP. Try to keep your position while healing up. Side to side juking is reserved for when you have the same range as the opponent. It's usually good to use this juking pattern because the opponent will have the lowest chance to hit, which is really important when 2 hits will kill you in a sniper battle. When you have more range than your opponent, you need to space yourself from your opponent perfectly so that you are just outside their range, till they are low enough to finish the kill. Learning how to dodge Spike Curveball is also a necessity because of his high usage rate in duels. Importantly, don't panic and be scared of the opponent. And don't change your pattern too much based on your HP or ammo. In the A tier we have the best duels brawlers on certain maps. They have few counters, good win conditions, and will slide into most teams perfectly as the key brawler in that comp. B's gadget is still great for control, and she is a tank counter with the longest range. Sue is a great supercharger, beats most brawlers in a 1v1, and has a wall break. Gale is a good tank counter without super, and can beat anyone when he has super. Nani is the best brawler on the open maps with infinite gadgets, even beating some assassins. Edgar surprisingly does well into most tanks, and is also a great auto supercharger. Tara might be the best hypercharged brawler, and she kills any brawler with her super. Meeple is the best mid-ranger with a stun gadget and rarely loses to tanks. Chuck is a great supercharger and wins most 1v1s in the endgame with his post setup. Ollie is the best tank because of his range, HP, and super gadget combo for a free kill. Nike is the best hyper booster, and her HP and damage makes her great on closed maps. Chester could be the best hypercharged brawler. He also has a free kill with his hyper super. Do you think you lost because you were on your last brawler Mortis against El Primo? Don't go into the smoke, because you need to think about win conditions. How do you win, and how does the opponent win? Mortis wins if he gets hypercharged super and uses his gadget to land several hits against El Primo. El Primo wins if the gas closes in so Mortis can't run, and he lands a super on Mortis. The game isn't over yet. Think about how you complete your win condition and how to stop the opponent from doing theirs. I would dash in and out trying to bait the El Primo super while getting my hypercharge before the smoke closes in. Then, once he is out of super and a bit low, use the hyper and gadget to finish the kill. Another broader example is if you're playing Barley against Griff, B, and RT on Monkey Maze. The opponent's win condition is obvious. Break open the map and use the range advantage to beat the common throwers, tanks, and mid-rangers on the map. However, your win condition is that you beat all of them with Barley on a closed map. Quickly move up the map, dodging the Griff and healing with the star power to push him into spawn where he can't break the important central walls. The smoke closes in and he dies, so you have 2 free matchups against B and RT for an easy victory. In the S tier, these brawlers can be played in almost any map with almost any comp, and synergize well for easy victories. They are either an excellent supercharger, a super user, or a broken brawler, winning any 1v1. Pearl is the perfect duels brawler. She has high damage, high HP with a shield, and the passive game mode suits her well as she charges her heat. The gadget also deals lots of damage. Tanks can't approach her when she has super, and she can save her boring hyper for the next brawler. Kit is the best assassin with the invisibility at the start to gain map control. Squishies lose to him almost every time, and he can even beat some of his counters with good play. His super charges automatically to be saved for the next brawler to beat his counters. RT has 10 tile range, lots of health, and a tank form, making him a great overall brawler with few counters. He can get his super for free with the gadget, and against low DPS single shot brawlers, he places his legs in the center for a free win. Jean has a great time outranging everyone on No Surrender, and is still good on every map with his pull and 3 attack 8000 damage combo. He doesn't lose to tanks on closed maps with the knockback gadget, a great go-to option after a supercharger. Juju is the best thrower in duels with her jack of all trades gadget, incredible range, and unstoppable super. On open maps, run the shield star power on Juju to push them back into spawn, and on closed maps, use the slow star power to crush any tank options. Lumi is the best brawler in the game, and she surely is a solid option in duels. Her ice gadget gives her full control over 2 areas, and once she lands one shot, the enemy is slowed and auto-aimed to death. When she has super, the opponent is forced to hide behind walls or become a free kill. That's it for the duels tier list. Feel free to yell at me in the comments if you disagree. My final tip and the best way to improve goes without saying that you should practice 1v1s against a friend with your skill level. Stay tuned for an upcoming video where I 1v1 the best players from my top ranked club in the US. If you want to train with me, make sure you subscribe and leave your Supercell ID in the comments. This is my first Brawl Stars video that I put a lot of effort into, so I appreciate you listening until the end. If I helped you learn something, it would help me a lot if you dropped a like. See you next time.